If you think a sailboat race stops at the finish line, then that's not quite correct. Sailors who really want to improve their performance need to learn from their actions, both good and bad, whenever they're on the water. And only those who take their race or training into deeper analysis once they're off the water will really turn themselves into winners. Hi, my name's Andy Rice and I'm hosting today's Sailmon webinar. And helping us talk through the whole process of the post-race debrief is Olympic coach Konstantinos Trigonis. And so welcome, Konstantinos. Where are you in the world today? What are you up to?
Hello to everyone. Thank you, Andy, for hosting me in this webinar. And Sailmon, I'm in Valencia, coaching NACRAS.
Excellent. Well, we might find out a little bit more about that in a moment. But first, let's play a little video to find out a little bit more about the life of Konstantinos. So Kostas, before we get into the detail of what we're going to talk about tonight, just tell us what was going on. It looked like a training camp.
About the video, you mean?
Yeah.
In collaboration with Red Bull, with a long partnership with a long partner of us, Red Bull, we created a program which started as Under My Wing program, where we were getting junior sailors and we were passing them through a learning process. Like it was something like a coaching week that we were sharing with them our experience. We started on that program back in 2016. On 2017, we split at our team with Ioannis Pascalidis, where we are sailing together, and we split at our team. So we picked up two junior guys and we sailed against each other at the World Championships in Tornado. And then we kept on doing this with Formula 18s. We renamed it. We called it Past the Rudder. And we ended up the first year of COVID to end up making a race. With these kids, we took the format of America's Cup, and we set it up on a Formula 18, starting reaching, doing 2 sausages and finishing reaching to the beach. And it was really cool, really nice, as most of the kids were like world champions in 420s, laser radials, and small classes. And this way we introduced them also in a different type of sailing, as speed sailing is, catamaran sailing is. And now we are trying to do the same thing with foiling.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just so that anyone watching the call knows a little bit more about you, pick out 2 or 3 highlights of of your career, both as a sailor and a coach? Give us a flavor of the kind of things you've achieved.
Now you are asking me something difficult. I cannot talk about myself. I cannot speak about myself. But yeah, 4 times Olympian as an athlete, 3 times in 470, starting in Atlanta until my last games in 470 was in Athens, 2004. 2008, Olympian in tornado class, multiple world and European champion in 470 class, tornado class, Formula 18 class, sailing in A class now.
That's enough. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just trying to establish some credentials that you're actually worth listening to. And clearly you are. You're a multiple champion in monohulls and multi-hulls, but it seems like you've ended up more in the multi-hull world in more recent years.
Yes. It looks that multi-hulls fitted me way better than the monohulls. Yeah, I like speed. I drive motorbikes, and in general, I like whatever goes fast.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So it suited me perfectly.
Now, this process of talking about the debrief, about analyzing races after they're finished, when I've done well in a race, I've got no problem looking back over that race and reliving the moment.
That's the most common thing. Yeah. Yeah.
But when we've had a bad race, why would we want to go back and revisit the horrors of a bad race?
I disagree on this. What I'm saying, it should be balanced, it should be equal. And why I'm saying it should be equal is, the reason is, what you do well, you need to reproduce it. Okay. What you don't do as well, you need to improve it. So if you will not spend on the good part of on the good things you've done equal time, possibly they won't be so sharp.
So where do people tend to spend their time, would you say? Where do you think most people...
on what they do bad mostly?
And you think that's a mistake?
In my opinion, to clarify it so I won't be misunderstood, I believe that as personalities, we have special characteristics, and we tend not to sharpen a lot the good sides, the good characteristics we have. And we tend more to focus on the bad things. I haven't done this well. I haven't done this well. I haven't done this well. Okay, what you did well. You don't hear people talking about a lot about what they did well. Most of the times you hear them talking about what they did not did well.
Right. But surely that's where the biggest gains are to be made. Exactly. If you're going to work on some improvements, surely you work on your worst areas to get the biggest improvement, don't you?
Yes, but I have to ask a question here, because you are more experienced than me. Why should I sharpen so much an area that I don't have the skills to improve it? Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, why should
I would say you don't have the skills to improve it because you're not practicing it enough. So
maybe, yeah.
So this is an interesting debate, and clearly we it doesn't mean that one thing is right and another thing is wrong.
Exactly.
I would suggest that sailors without coaches tend not to do debriefs. Sailors with coaches do debriefs because that's what they're paying somebody to do.
This doesn't mean that they like it, though.
No, you're paying a coach good money to put you through pain. But what about those of us weekend warriors who are not sailing at Olympic level, and we go and have a race, and then we go for a drink afterwards to catch up with our friends, we pack up the boat and we drive home, and then we don't think about the race anymore? What are we missing out on?
I think the first thing you are missing is the fundamental question, why you are doing this. Yeah, if you are not learning, if you are not getting engaged, on anything you do, why you are doing it. You have to ask yourself why you are doing it. I cannot think myself being involved with something where I cannot understand what the benefit is. And the biggest benefit you can have is to learn. Doesn't matter if you will become a champion. Doesn't matter if you win an Olympic medal. Everyone knows that the top is single. Not a lot of people can be there, but what it matters in the end of the day is what you've learned. And if you don't get the learnings, then why you are there? For me, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, but this process of learning can be painful, especially straight after the event. So when you've just made a mess of a race, maybe you capsized, maybe you sailed the wrong side up the windward leg when you knew the other side was the one that you were meant to do, but for some reason you didn't go there. When is a good time to analyze a race? Is it straight after the race, or do you have to let the emotions go away a little bit first?
I prefer the hot debriefs, because on the hot debriefs you get the real character of the person. And yes, that moment it might create a bit of a mess if there are a lot of emotions involved, but later on it will really indicate the areas where the improvements are hidden. Then the second thing to say is that despite what I prefer personally, it has to do with the types of with the characters you are dealing. Some athletes they prefer to do it straightforward. Some others, they want time to ventilate their emotions and get grounded and get balanced again, and then they can get into it really hard. Depends on the personality. What I prefer and what works for me good, the way I'm thinking and the way my brain is set up, is straightforward. I prefer the hot ones.
Okay. Now, what if one of you, you're in a two-person team, and one of you prefers the hot debrief in the heat of the moment, and the other one doesn't want to go anywhere near the debrief for at least an hour or two or more?
Then it has to do with how focused you are on the content. To me, sailing is a chaotic sport. Okay, you can really easily get lost in tons of information and things and whatever is happening around. It's a constantly changing environment. So if the priorities and the content is not specific, you can really easily get lost. The hot debriefs are becoming really easy when there is a structure on this. And the learnings are coming way easier because then the participants of the debrief, they have a clear understanding of what's going on. Doesn't matter what the result is. What matters is for the athlete or the coach or everyone involved is to have a clear understanding what happened and what needed to be done. Once you have this, then the learning is there. And the learning is the most valuable thing of the situation, not the result. Because if you don't learn, you will not get the result.
So yeah, I've heard you say before, there's an absolutely brilliant quote that you have for these situations.
Yeah. Either you win, either you learn.
So some people say either win or you lose. So there's no losing in your book.
In my way of thinking, no, there is no losing. You are constantly learning. You are constantly learning. Whatever happens, you are breaking a mast, for example, because you tried something different. You tried thinner side stays because you thought it was going to help, or less windage or whatever. Okay, it's not working. Standard days. You don't even think about this anymore. You take it out of the way.